is Kenneth Price, and I'm feeling moved to do a video today to speak to some of the questions I've been asked over the last several years, especially around two topics that in my experience are not mutually exclusive: ayahuasca and A Course in Miracles. Now, for those of you who don't know, ayahuasca is a sacred plant medicine from the Amazon. Indigenous shamans have worked with it for generations, and in recent years, it's become much more well known in the West, especially for people navigating trauma, deep healing, and spiritual awakening. It's a psychedelic, yes, but it's also referred to as a shadow medicine, and that's the thread I would like to follow today in this video. As a person who holds the symbol of Reverend and a longtime Course in Miracles student, I'm feeling called to bridge these two worlds. Not theologically, but through my own lived experience. This isn't just an abstract idea or something I read in a book. It's something that happened to me directly. So, here we go. If you've studied the Course in Miracles for any length of time, you've likely come across the phrase, "Bring the darkness to the light." You know, that quote has haunted me for years. I'd repeat it, I'd study it, but I kept asking myself, how do you actually do that? I mean, it sounds simple, but is it? How do you bring darkness to the light when most of it can, for some of us, be buried so deep in the subconscious that we don't even know what's down there? That was the honest question that I brought into my first ayahuasca ceremony back in 2019. I didn't take that question to a course teacher. I didn't write to a facilitator. But instead, I took it straight to the medicine. I sat on my mat, held the question in my heart, and I drank from the cup. And what I received wasn't a concept. It wasn't a metaphor or a mental insight. But what I received instead was a direct experience. It wasn't really mystical in a romantic way, but it was raw, unfiltered, and clarifying. And it was exactly what I needed. Ayahuasca did not give me a formula. She did not hand me a spiritual checklist. She simply said, "Let's go take a look, kiddo." And down we went, into the vault, into the basement of my psyche. And what I found wasn't just a memory. It wasn't even emotion. It was energy. The energy underneath the rage, the bitterness, the sadness, the guilt, and the shame. Stuff that I thought I had long dealt with, but was still there, hiding out, lingering in the shadows. And she didn't say forgive it. She didn't say analyze it. But instead, she simply asked me to sit with it. I simply sat with the energy that was underneath my stories. Not the explanation, just the unfiltered current itself. This wasn't conceptual. It was cellular. And that is when the miracle appeared. It began to dissolve. Not because I understood it, not because I did anything, but instead because I stopped resisting. And that's when I got it, at a level much deeper than words. Forgiveness isn't something we do. It's what remains when we stop fighting what is. Forgiveness is the organic byproduct of presence. And it shows up when we have the bravery to sit with our own shadow. And that's what ayahuasca showed me. And that, to me, is exactly what the Course means when it says, "Bring darkness to the light." Mother Ayahuasca did not explain anything. She did not argue with my ego. She just held open the curtain and said, "Take a look, kiddo." And here's the miracle. What I feared would kill me actually saved me. What I thought would break me actually held me. And what I believed wasn't love turned out to be love in disguise. I didn't need to forgive. I just needed to feel. And through that simple act of presence, the stories began to collapse. And what remained instead was silence, stillness, and peace. The Course says that healing requires only one thing, a lack of judgment. And that's exactly what Mother Ayahuasca offered me. A space where judgment fell away and only the truth remained. Now, I'm not saying that anyone needs ayahuasca. The Course in Miracles is a complete path, and I trust that fully. But I also trust that the Holy Spirit uses symbols. And for some of us, whose trauma runs so deep that it's hidden in the tissues, ayahuasca may just be one of the symbols used to help us see what we otherwise cannot. Not to replace the Course, but to support it. To help us meet ourselves more honestly. To serve, as the Course says, as a temporary learning aid until we no longer need it. So here's the question that I get asked most often. Is my shadow gone? No. Listen, folks, my parable is still unfolding like everybody else's. But today, I have something that I did not have before. A reference point. A lived experience of how love feels when it meets fear and stays. And when my shadow returns, as it does every single day, I now remember that I have the bravery inside of myself to be with what arises. I have the capacity to welcome it. And most of all, I have the willingness to love it. So this is what my path looks like now. To simply love what arises. To trust what shows up. And to meet life, not with control, but instead with simple presence. This isn't advice. This is just my story. And I'm offering it to you in case it lights up something. Because maybe, just maybe, what you fear the most could just possibly be the doorway home.
Compañero,